The M47 Patton is an American tank, the second tank to be named after General George S. Patton, commander of the U.S. Third Army during World War II and one of the earliest American advocates of tanks in battle. It was a development of the M46 Patton tank mounting an updated turret, and was in turn further developed as the M48 Patton. History: the M47 was the U.S. Army's and Marine Corps primary tank, intended to replace the M46 Patton and M4 Sherman medium tanks. The M47 was widely used by U.S. Cold War allies, both SEATO and NATO countries, and was the only Patton series tank that never saw combat while in U.S. service. Although roughly similar to the later M48S and M60S, these were completely new tank designs. Many different M47 Patton models remain in service internationally. The M47 was the last U.S. tank to have a bow-mounted machine gun in the hull. Design: although a new power plant corrected the mobility and reliability problems of the M26 Pershing, the subsequently renamed M46 was considered a stopgap solution that would be replaced later by the T-42 medium tank. However, after fighting erupted in Korea, the Army decided that it needed the new tank earlier than planned. It was deemed that there was not enough time to finish the development of the T-42 and fix various problems that were likely to emerge in the new design. The final decision was to produce another interim solution, with the turret of the T-42 mounted on the familiar hull of the M46. The composite tank, developed by the Detroit Arsenal, was named the M47 Patton and entered production in 1951. Its main gun was the M36 90mm gun with an M12 optical rangefinder fitted. The secondary armament consisted of 2.30 calories Browning machine guns, one in the bow of the hull and one coaxial machine gun in the turret, and a .50 calories Browning M2 on a pintle mount on the turret roof. The M47 was the last American-designed tank to include a bow machine gun. The T-42 turret had a larger turret ring than the M26 per M46 turret, and featured a needle-nose design, which improved armor protection of the turret front, an elongated turret bustle and storage bin which protruded halfway across the engine deck, and the turret sides were sloped to further improve ballistic protection. This gave the turret a decidedly lozenge-shaped profile. It also featured the M12 stereoscopic rangefinder, which was designed to improve first-round hit probability but proved difficult to use. The rangefinder protruded from both sides of the upper turret front, which would be a feature of American tanks until the advent of the M1 Abrams in 1980. Production began at the Detroit Tank Arsenal in June 1951 before the M47 was standardized for production. Delays in the shipment of the M12 rangefinder and other problems due to the rushed production schedule caused a protracted testing period, and the first M47s were not fielded to the 1st and 2nd Armored Divisions until summer 1952. Standardized in May 1952, the M47 Patton's production ran until November 1953. Detroit built 5,481 tanks, and American Locomotive Company produced 3,095, for a total production run of more than 9,000 M47 Pattons. Deployment: with the arrival of the improved M48 Patton in 1953, the M47 was declared limited standard in 1955, and examples in tank units were replaced with the M48 series soon after. After being declared obsolete in 1957, M46S and M47S were retained in active duty infantry division battle group assault gun platoons until replaced with the light truck-mounted SS-10 anti-tank guided missile in the early 1960s. M47S were used by the reserves for a relatively short time, soon being replaced by early production M48 Patton series tanks. Thus, most of the M47S were exported in the late 1950s. The U.S. Marine Corps also fielded M47s starting in late 1952. After the Korean War, all 7 Marine tank battalions, 3 divisional, 2 reserve training, and 2 force level, each fielded M47s. But these were soon replaced with M48A1 Pattons and M103 heavy tanks, with the last M47s being retired in 1959. The M47 was widely used by many countries, especially NATO and SEATO allies, including Austria, Belgium, Ethiopia, France, Greece, Iran, Italy, Japan, Jordan, Pakistan, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, South Korea, Sudan, Spain, Switzerland, Turkey, West Germany, and Yugoslavia. Like the U.S. Army of the time, the West German Bundeswehr also used some of their M47s as interim tank destroyers assault guns until replaced by the rare Kettenjagdpanzer I tank destroyers armed with SS-11 anti-tank guided missiles in the early 1960s. U.S. Army M47s remaining in storage were expended as targets. In the 1970s, they were used for the M60A1's 105mm gun with devastating effect. The 105mm heat round would penetrate the frontal armor with ease. Many M47s in like-new condition met their fate in this manner, showing the M60 crews firsthand the effects of modern tank weapons on conventional steel armor. Combat service. Pakistan used M47s against India in the Indo-Pakistani War of 1965 and Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. Jordan used M47s against Israel in the Six-Day War in 1967. The M47 was used by the Turkish army, in the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in July and August 1974, with an estimated 200 Pattons involved in the action. At least one operational M47, number 092273, was captured by the Cyprus National Guard and remained in service until 1993. The example is currently stored at the camp of the 25 EMA in Parfos as a training and memorial exhibit. Iran used M47s against Iraq in the Iran-Iraq War. Iranian M47s performed poorly against Iraqi tanks such as the T-62s and T-72s. Large numbers of M47 tanks were captured by the Iraqis. In the 1980s and early 1990s, the Turkish army used M47 tanks against PKK guerrillas in Turkey and Iraq. Turkish M48A5 variants replaced all remaining M47s in the late 1990s. Croatia used M47s against the Serbs in the Croatian War of Independence, but their performance was inferior to that of the Soviet-designed T-55s. The M47s were retired from service immediately after the war, and are now used as gunnery missile targets during military exercises. In the Somalian Civil War, some of the country's large pre-war M47 collection may have seen service in the initial stages, but these aging vehicles soon ceased operations due to a lack of spares and maintenance. France deployed a squadron of M47s against Egypt during the Suez Crisis in 1956. Variants: M46E1, a Europilot model, M46 hull with T-42 turret, fitted with the M36 90mm gun, and was longer to incorporate a radio, ventilator, and featured a stereoscopic rangefinder. Only one built, M47, a Euro main production version, M46 hull modified with redesigned glasses, reduction from 5 to 3 track return rollers per side, longer mufflers on rear fenders. 8,576 built, M47MA Euro, the product of an improvement program started in the late 1960s. The M47M featured the engine and fire control elements from the M60A1. The assistant driver's position was eliminated in favor of additional 90mm ammunition. Not used by the U.S. Over 800 vehicles were produced for Iran and Pakistan, M47EA Euro Spanish M47M austere version. M47E1, a Euro second Spanish upgrade batch with rearranged main gun ammunition storage and crew heater. Both new and upgraded M47 is 330 converted. M47E2, a Euro 45 built. M47E1 with RH105 105mm gun and improved FCS. Passive night vision for driver and commander. All M47 series MBT in Spanish service retired 1993. M47E3, a Euro Spanish armored recovery vehicle. 22 built. Sabrelan, a Euro, an Iranian upgraded version of the US M47M, It has side skirts and a newly built turret fitted with a 105mm gun, laser rangefinder, new fire control system and communication equipment. Additional equipment: M6 Euro earth-moving tank mounting bulldozer. Bulldozer kit for the M47 series. Unknown name, switching 90mm M36 to 90mm M41 which used by M48 Patton 3. Operators. Current operators Spain Euro 22 M47 EO3 ARV based on M47 hulls modernized in 1992 Euro 94. Currently used as recovery vehicles in artillery and infantry units. Former operators Austria, 153 M47s in active service from 1957 till 1982. Since 1972, turrets of retired M47 tanks were fixed in Austrian bunker systems. Belgium Euro one of the surviving examples is visible in the Brussels Military Museum, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Chile. Croatia Euro over 20 during the Croatian War of Independence, 16 units remained in service by 1996 but were soon retired. Cyprus Euro 1 captured vehicle. France Euro 856, Greece Euro 396 pieces in total, of which 391 were scrapped between 1992 and 1995. Iraq Euro captured from Iran. All destroyed or scrapped. Iran, Italy, Jordan, Republic of Korea Euro acquired a total of 531 Vehicles Euro 463 for the Army between 1956 and 1959, and 68 for the Marine Corps between 1963 and 1964 Euro mainly from the USFK. Around three-quarters of the M47s replaced their 90mm M36 guns with the 90mm M41 guns that became available when their M48s upgraded their guns from 90mm M41 to 105mm M68. The last vehicle was out of service in 2007. Netherlands, Pakistan Euro retired in 2002 Euro 2003, Philippines Euro and M47 is on static display inside Camp Aguinaldo, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Spain, West Germany, Turkey Euro all M47s were recycled and the steel used for civil purposes, except one tank that was delivered to the Istanbul Military Museum and one tank as war memorial in location 35°19 Euro squared 39 Euro cubed N 33°8 Euro squared 28 Euro cubed E. United States, Yugoslavia Euro total of 319 delivered during the 1950s when U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower feared that the USSR could attack Yugoslavia via the Hungarian-Yugoslav border. Evaluation only operators Japan Euro evaluation only. Civilian operators United States Euro 1 former Austrian Army M47 owned by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He previously operated the vehicle during his mandatory service in 1965 and now uses it to support his charity. See also T-54 Soviet tank, M26 Pershing, M46 Patton, M48 Patton, Type 61, M60 Patton, List of armored fighting vehicles, M103 heavy tank, G numbers SNLG 262. References. Bibliography Honeycutt, R.P. Patton, A History of the American Main Battle Tank. 1984, Presidio Press. ISBN 0-89141-230-1. External links, AFV database, M47 Patton, globalsecurity.org, M47 Patton, Patton Mania, M47 photos and walkarounds on Prime Portal. Army's latest medium tank features lethal firepower. Popular Mechanics, June 1952, pages 88. Early public relation article for M47.